Carol. Vince is going to do the prayer.
I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. We'll start with the opening prayer and pledge of allegiance. Vince, if you will.
Heavenly Father, we ask your protection in this nation, the state, and the city. We ask you to lead us and guide us all into your will. Thank you for your protection, safety of our citizens, our workers. Praise your holy name. Pray this in your name.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Anybody sign up to speak before the council? No. Okay. Well, being that we did not have anybody sign up, I have a guest tonight that would like to come forward, Mr. Snowden. I don't know let me sit down here. I don't know how many of you all are familiar with Dave Snowden, but he has been here on Town Square for 55 years. He used to be on the city council, and I think you sat right down where Miss Hickey's sitting, if I'm right. And even though he moved away from Jeffersontown, his heart's still in Jeffersontown. So I'm going to let Dave tell you why he's here tonight, and take it over, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Miss Mayor, I should say. I've known Carol for so long. And yes, this is, I'm very passionate about Jeffersontown. My wife gets irritated with me when I get on my soapbox about Jeffersontown. But I was elected and came in with Danny Ruckriegel when he was mayor. And actually I had a unique thing. I was actually endorsed by Jack Durrett. I was on both, and I still lost by 6 votes. So,
Votes.
and so then Richard Dunn resigned, and then the council asked me to come on, and I was on for 6 years until I got married and moved outside into Louisville. But I have owned a business in Jeffersontown for over 55 years. I know I don't look like I could be that old, but I really am.
Right.
And
Don't look like I'm the one that sold you the building.
and,
either,
and
does it?
yes, yes. And by the way, that building, we're right next, one door down, and offered it to the city. City turned it down. And so my accountant and I purchased the building. I was located, the original office of Triangle Talent was at 9912 Taylorsville Road, and then moved up to next to Corfage, which is 9701, I think it is. No, I don't know what it is. Anyway, next to Corfage, and then we moved into the building next door here. So I'll tell you a little bit about, well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I was a councilman here, was the chairman of the zoning committee when we were annexing and fighting Metro government at the time. And very glad to say we defeated it twice. And then we basically got what Jeffersontown needed out of it. I was involved with a little bit of everything during that time period because we were very progressive and quite frankly had a whole lot of money, as you all probably know. And my past, I was chairman of the board of the Kentucky Employers Mutual Insurance for 23 years, which is a workman's comp company started by the state. I was chairman of Derby Festival in 1993. I was on the Convention and Visitors Bureau, chairman of that for, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, something like that. So I've been very involved in the community, both otherwise. Triangle Talent is been, like I said, July 1st, 1960, became a corporation in Jeffersontown. And I was not one of the original owners. I was still in high school in 1960. But very proud, and has always been here. And one of the older businesses continually running in Jeffersontown, quite frankly. So I'm very proud of that. Triangle Talent is the largest producer of major state fairs, festivals, and events in the United States. You've heard of Live Nation. Live Nation is bigger than we are. There's another company called AEG, which is bigger than we are. But then there's us, which you all would have no idea about that because you don't do big events. So we do everything for the New York State Fair, Washington State Fair in Seattle, Iowa, Missouri, and we've been doing it for about 30, 40 years. This will be my 54th year of producing the Kentucky State Fair. I'll jump ahead and first of all, I'm going to say some things that are not very nice about the former mayor, and I don't mean to be, and I think he meant well. I'm hoping that he meant well. And this is reference the amphitheater, which the good news is it's built well. The bad news is it's a loss leader. It's not compatible for what it is. And Bill sold you all a bill of goods. The first thing I asked Carol was, did you vote for this? And you that were on the council at the time, you voted for it. Well, the problem was, and I just learned from Debbie, the problem was you all didn't see, you saw the first rendering of it, which I have an email from Bill saying $3.5 to $5 million amphitheater. You all never saw what the architects drew. I don't understand that. And like I said, I supported Bill when he ran for mayor of Louisville. So it's nothing against him. Going back to the beginning when I saw on the news that Jeffersontown was going to build an amphitheater, I was kind of poked a little bit by my staff since we were one door down, like I said. Did you know about it? I go, I don't know anything about it. No idea. So I called Bill and told him I wasn't very happy that, I would have liked to have just known about it. I mean, somebody like, hey, you're in the entertainment business. There's not a lot of people in the entertainment business in this country that does what we do. So I came down, I met with Bill, and he told me that, yes, they were going to build an amphitheater, $3.5 million, and it could run up to $5 million. It's going to end up being, in my opinion, 12, 15 million. Multi-use facility that makes no sense whatsoever. I hope you all have seen it. It's beautiful. The inside, the community room is beautiful. Now you're competing against yourself. Now you've got the Jeffersonian, now you've got this. And it's overbuilt. You've got wood paneling on the back of the amphitheater. We had a break-in last night down there. There's no alarm on it. We don't know whose insurance covers it. I don't understand. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a former councilman, and Fred and Carol will tell you I was a troublemaker on the council. Fred actually had black hair and was very young until I came on the council.
It was
Before you,
brown.
right?
And one reason I sat right there was because Danny could slap me if I got out of hand, and I got out of hand more than a couple of times. But anyway, what Carol has asked me to do, and I've met with Matt. I was here I have a little bit of good news. Hopefully I can say this. They opened bids for phase 4, and we expected to come in at 3 million. It came in at 1.8, which
That's great.
is great. That's the grading. You'll start seeing something happening down there now. It'll be graded, sidewalks put in, and some parking put in. What Carol has asked me to do is to consult and to try to push this forward. So I said I would do it. It would be a monthly fee, I want to do it on a monthly fee basis, because once we get it rolling, you won't need me. I mean, once we
Get it going.
get it going. And right now, I don't understand. There's stuff scattered all over the place. Public Works can't even go down there and mow the grass because there's debris all over the place that the contractors left there. There's just so much I don't understand about it. To give you a little bit more information about, we managed Iroquois Amphitheater for 5.5 years. We renovated Iroquois Amphitheater. It was a city, county, Metro Parks thing. And again, Bill knew that. I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in Louisville or around the area that has managed an amphitheater in Louisville, Kentucky, but us. Why he ignored us, I have no earthly idea. I don't get it. We volunteered. We volunteered to help. We've done consulting work for the Tulsa County government, state of New York, state of Iowa, and several other state organizations in building amphitheaters and stages. We build stages in the middle of parking lots and do shows. That's what we do at the Kentucky State Fair and do at most of the other fairs. Some fairs have stages where they've actually built them. Tulsa has a beautiful facility that we consulted on. The other interesting part of this is the company out of Cincinnati that consulted Joseph and Joseph called us to find about the roof, to see what the rigging point should be and the weight limits. City of Jeffersontown didn't call us, but they called us. Moving forward, folks, this is going to be difficult once it's completed. You're competing with yourself. You're making money with the Jeffersonian. Now you've got another facility basically using the same parking. I am so thankful that you're going to do away with Field 7, which should have never been built. Danny and I did not agree on that. I was chairman of the Parks department when we built that ballpark, which was for T-ball and it was never really used. I still don't. So that's going to be turned into parking. So that'll help a little bit. But I don't know that you're going to be able to rent the Jeffersonian for a big event and rent this because we don't have enough parking. So somebody didn't think about that either. I'm hoping that we can do some things. Mr. Fisher, Mayor Pike we've talked about some ideas that hopefully will come before the council, and you can do that. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a money-making project, folks. You're not going to make money from this. It's a loss leader. I will also tell you that one of the biggest drains that Metro Parks has is Iroquois Amphitheater. So now a lot of that is the old structure that it is, and they've got all kinds of roof problems and everything, and it's so old they can't even fix it. They need to actually tear it down. And I'm going to suggest they get Bill Durf to come out and consult on that. So they should be able to do that for a couple of $1 million. So anyway, I'm hoping that I can help. All I want to do is to push it forward. I'm tired of driving by it and seeing weeds growing, trucks parked there, no work being done. I have already started kind of helping out a little bit. I was down there the other day and talking to the electrician, and they had not put in enough power on the stage. So we got it before the electrician left, so it's not a major issue, but to run any type of a small show, you can't have, and some of you wouldn't know this, I'm sure, you can't have a lights and sound on the same system because LED lights can get a buzz in the sound system. Well, the contractor was putting in one 200 amp 3-phase service. That's not even those are the things I don't understand. That's never been, it's never, I don't know. I think it's a good contractor. I think the building is built well. It's beautiful. Have all of y'all been down there?
They've been.
I mean, the inside of it's beautiful. It's
Until last night.
yeah, well, so that's another issue that we just, Carol, the mayor called me this morning and said, had a break-in last night, the kids did some vandalism. The building has not been turned over to the city. The city doesn't even have keys to it, but yet it is on the Jeffersontown City Council insurance policy.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Because the building was supposed to be completed.
Because it was supposed to be done.
But if it's on it isn't the contractor responsible if,
Don't know that.
yeah.
Okay, that's a question for Fred, but I'm telling you, I put it on there. It's $12,000 for the policy,
There you
and
go.
I'm glad I did.
Oh, yeah. But-
Absolutely.
Because we may not get anything from the contractor. So.
Yeah.
Don't
Smart.
bring that up as a point because I did that. to
Well,
protect
I'm only bringing it up from a
assets.
point that earlier today, nobody knew that. I'm,
Everybody knew it.
everybody knew it. Okay,
There
I'm
seems to be
sorry.
a whole bunch of negative going on about this amphitheater. I mean, if Carol has brought you in, all I can hear is negative. I know what's wrong with the amphitheater. I've heard that Bill Deeriff has done this and Bill Deeriff's doing that. And that's fine. It's time for us to move on and quit blaming Bill for everything that's going on.
I'm not blaming Bill.
You
I'm-
blamed Bill the whole
Well,
time.
okay, let me,
here.
okay, let me, let me,
I mean, I
okay,
don't
let me
understand
address
why we
this.
can't just move on and get this thing finished. I mean, we know what's wrong with it. We need know what needs to be done, but all I keep hearing is, okay, let's hire somebody else and spend some more money and see what his opinion is. I don't get it. I mean,
you
maybe
know
I'm
what?
an idiot, but I
You know
don't
what?
get it.
I have no problem with walking out today and saying, thank you very much. Good luck. I'm telling you, I've tried to bring you through the process from the beginning of this, actually before, I think you were on the council, I'm not sure, but.
No, I wasn't. I've only been on the council 2 years.
Oh, okay. So we go back to the very beginning of this.
And I've heard that over and over again.
Okay. let's
Well,
listen to
okay,
him. I like to listen to him.
okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I'll be quiet.
No,
you go ahead.
No, I mean, Dave, there's been more done in the last 10 days or 2 weeks than we've had done down there in the last 2 months. We've got it cleaned up, we've got it moving, and these guys are moving out of there because you're showing up down there and you're taking care of it down there. They were using it as an office down there. They were doing their business down there. That's not what this is for, folks. I need to get this place finished.
But we
and-
had no idea he was going down there. You didn't tell us that. I
It
had no
just
idea.
now all started.
Trying to know right
That's why I
now.
brought him in tonight.
Well, anybody go down there, I mean, I wasn't hired to go down there to that. I
Well-
went down to look at it.
I feel like that we've been beating a dead horse here
Mhm.
because we have been complaining for months and
Yeah.
months and
Yeah.
months about,
Yeah.
have we not? I
We
mean,
have. Oh, we have.
You know,
And that's
nothing
true.
was
We have been
getting-
complaining
nothing
for
was
months and
getting
months and
done.
months and
It's just-
never can get anything done. You're right.
I mean, how much are you paying contractors down there? I mean, good God.
It's all in the bids.
Let me point out something that did happen that created a little bit of this, is you all have it in 5 different phases. Well, when you contract something and it goes in phases, that does mess everything up. So you just have phase 4, the bids just came in on phase 4. So you're just finishing phase 3.
Right.
So,
Probably shouldn't have been done like that, to be honest with you. Now,
Well,
but we didn't know. We didn't know.
you know,
Here we go again.
and and I was asked to come up here and tell you
To
what
tell
I do
you-
for a living. And this is
Just
not
know it's
something
in
that I have to
competent
do.
hands, and you know what you're doing. Just for instance, why don't you just say about? I mean, we did not know this about the glass doors. You don't have glass doors where you have bass music like this. It's not
I get that, but you had engineers, you had
Exactly
development
right.
companies, you have spent a fortune on this amphitheater.
Not
Why,
you, not
why
you.
now are we finding out all this stuff? That's my biggest thing is.
because I don't know, Trina. I'm not an engineer. I don't
mean,
know
there-
anything about it.
We have paid millions and millions of dollars down there. And now all of a sudden,
That's why I'm
the
trying to get it
doors don't
expedited and
work,
get it
or
moving.
the sound
Didn't know
system,
that.
system isn't set up right. I just don't.
Would
I
you
didn't know
know
sound,
it?
I didn't say anything
I
about
would know
sound.
it, girl, but I ain't an engineer.
Well, I don't know it either. That's what I'm saying. I'm
But
not
I
an
know that we
engineer.
hired people and we paid people millions of dollars.
And they're not evidently doing it right. That's where Dave came in. And that's where Dave said that, you know, why did they build this glass door? Why do they have this wood? Why do they have that? He is right. It should not be an amphitheater and it should not be an event center. It should have been one or the other. We did not know. This group of people are people that have jobs that do this part-time and don't know. They're not engineers and they're not specialists. They don't know, no more than you are or any of you all are. So we need some expertise, and Dave is 2 doors down, and somebody should have asked him, you know?
That's what I tried to point out. And again, as I said, I did
And
everything.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm sorry.
I did
didn't-
everything I could for Bill Dourif. I really did. And I wish he'd have been elected, in Louisville, except then we wouldn't have our chief here. But I'm glad. And I'm a Jeffersontown person,
Oh, and I understand
understand
that.
that.
I just feel like
and
it's,
I'm
it's
very
a
passionate about it.
bash fest.
And the bottom line is, I have a whole lot of experience. I don't know what to say, and I'm trying to help. And Carol called me this morning, and I went, I mean, why don't we have an alarm on the building? But we can't put an alarm on the building
not our
because the building hasn't been turned over to the city yet.
But these are the same questions we have been asking for months.
Well,
Months. We have
I-
been asking these same questions.
I just got here.
I
This
mean, I
is,
could have walked down there and asked the questions. I just don't understand now why we have to
I got,
hire somebody to oversee the project.
I got a question.
I think
you don't
that's-
have to, you know.
I got a question. In your honest opinion, you say this is gonna be a lost leader. Should we invest more to fix it up or let it go? Is it gonna pay off any way at all that's gonna even recover what we gotta put into it now?
No, you'll never recover the money that I think you're going to put into it, in my opinion. That's what I would, I really haven't even told the mayor this. She made a comment to me a few weeks ago. She said, "I'd just like to sell it." The only, I- you know, nobody's going to take it because they're going to have the same issues as you have. I don't,
We already have the money for it. and
you
we
would
got the
never,
ARPA
you would
money
never
for it.
build a stage in an amphitheater and put a community room behind it made out of glass. I'm sorry, I didn't design that.
I didn't either.
So what I'm trying to figure out is how can we make this work the best we can? It's there. I don't think you should bulldoze it down, okay?
I don't think you're saying that, are you? Vince?
Well, no, but
It's not gonna pay
but
off.
to be honest with
Well,
you,
but-
yeah,
It's never gonna pay off.
I was gonna say, Vince, we have a lot of things that don't pay off, like the
Yeah.
pool,
yeah.
No, but I
senior
mean-
citizen center.
I mean, if we're nowhere, I mean, if it's such a lost leader, there's gonna be a constant drain on our assets. And
I think
Yeah,
we just
think
need
about
to
that.
do the bare minimal, get by and get it open. I mean.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find
we talked about
sponsorships.
See, right now, what
Trying to find
what
sponsorships.
prompted
Talked about
this, we had a meeting and Carol said to Matt and I and Debbie and several other people in the office, I would like to do something this year for Gaslight Festival. I doubt that we will have it ready to do something by Gaslight Festival next year.
No, that's re- I mean,
Now that is, a little bit of that has to do with the weather, how phase 4 works, then phase 5, which again, you can't do, the way this is set up, you can't do phase 5 till you do phase 4. I didn't do this. And if I was sitting up there and Fred would be the first to tell you, and Carol, I'd be raising so much hell by now, I'd be thrown out.
I have been.
I
I have been.
but you know what? my feeling is you can't cry over spilt milk. It's there. Let's
Yeah.
try to make it work. I think as a taxpayer in Jeffersontown, as a former councilman here, we've got to try to fix it.
Yeah,
We-
Mr. Snowden, I've heard
So-
a lot of things wrong. What are the solutions?
Right,
I mean, I think we're 20 minutes into everything bad.
Right.
What are the solutions?
right. I
try
agree.
to
Yeah.
speed up the process and get it open as soon as possible and correct some of the things that are wrong right now. There are some other things that I didn't even bring up that I don't want to bring up now particularly. The finishing of the back of the amphitheater is inlaid wood.
And I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is not necessarily what are the problems, but what are the next steps?
What do you think,
We can
why
go-
it
go
won't make
forward
money,
with it.
Dave?
And what is our recourse on the contractors? I mean,
I don't,
why can't we go back and say this wood is not acceptable? You're gonna have to-
Was respected problem.
no, that's what
What?
was in the,
Respected.
the architect designed it and the contractor has done what the architect said to do. And again, I hate to go back to Bill, but Bill told the architect what he wanted it to look like. None of you all did this. As I said, you did not see what this was going to be.
Dave, looking at possible revenue streams from your background, what about naming rights? And again, I don't know. I just know some places I've been with different amphitheaters, there are naming rights. And I know will we have to wait till it's completely open? What's your thoughts?
Well, at this point, and yes, I think you can do naming rights. And I think there's some people in the industrial park that will come and do that to help. That's what we've got to do. Right now, we can't take anybody down there and show them this.
You can't get in there.
So one thing, phase 4 is that's going to be the one thing that's going to be big for the citizens of Jeffersontown. Phase 4 is going to put sidewalks
Parking lots.
and parking lot in.
Well, isn't
Every-
that all, don't we have the money for all that? I mean,
Yes,
We don't
yeah.
need.
That's
yeah.
what he's saying.
Yeah.
Once
We
we
have
get
all the
phase
money.
4 done,
And
then it will look better.
But
and
then
the
you want to
bid-
sell off rights for what? For,
Like they do
start
at the Blue
paying
Cross
back
Blue
stuff? Is
Shield
that what you want?
building and,
I think the one in Mount Washington, I was like PNC
It's
or
West
something.
That's
like that.
exactly
Yeah.
right. Exactly right. And again, I said the good news is, and I hope you heard that,
I did.
everybody thought the bid for phase 4 was going to be closer to 3 million. It came in at 1.8. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's real good.
Yeah, and
No,
we
and
can-
as
my
far as
opinion.
these phases, when you build anything, things happen in phases.
Right.
You don't have the concrete, the grass, the building,
Yeah.
the,
It
all
goes
at
in
the same
pieces.
time.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
phases.
Yeah.
I-
So
and-
I get the phases that we're in. They needed to be sped up a little bit, but
And,
things have to happen in phases.
I feel your frustration. And that's why, and I'm speaking as being frustrated about this. I think maybe you all think that, and I'd said a lot of bad things. I'm frustrated because I've been here for 55 years. Okay. And I don't like driving by there and seeing that.
Yeah.
And knowing, quite frankly, what you and the mayor are going through. I bet a lot of the citizens are going, what the hell is
Well,
going
they
on there?"
are doing
every
that.
day, all day.
Yeah, and so what I want to do is try to speed it up. Carol's right, and thank you, Carol. I went down there. Fred told me not to be calm today. I'm trying to do my best. I think this room does something to me. I just kind of get charged up. Anyway, I went down there and I came back. The contractor literally was running his office out of one of the rooms there. He had a desk set up.
Was he paying taxes?
Dude,
Payroll tax?
I mean, I came out of there and Carol knows. I mean, I
Who
came
let
out of there
that
and go,
on?
what's
How did
what's
it-
going
Miranda?
on here? I mean,
Isn't
now, again, I think the contractors, nobody told him not to do that. I don't know. I've just got started.
Let's just keep an eye on
He
it.
just has only been around for a couple weeks.
Well, catching the electric to me was huge. That's a big deal because,
Well, yeah, because they were going to put the ceiling in the next day, and that was just a lucky, fluky thing. And he was there when Matt and I were down there. And now I want to say this, folks. what you have there is first class. This is not shabby stuff. So that's the good news. And kind of what you're bringing up, that's the good news. It's nice. And it's going to be nicer. And, so that part of it has been very good. I mean, I hate being negative. I mean, you don't make friends
It's like you
being
said, it's
negative,
not an amphitheater.
but it's,
It's not an amphitheater. It's an event center. It's
you got it. It's
not an
it's,
amphitheater.
I don't,
I went to the amphitheater in Mount Washington Friday night, and it's amazing.
yeah, that's exactly right.
That's not an amphitheater.
I don't,
Say
it's,
that.
I think the
It's an
vision, I think
amphitheater.
the vision was a multi-purpose facility.
I think yeah, I think.
And,
that's a-
and the problem is, it would have been fine if they had built this very nice community room in a building, maybe over closer to the road, and then the amphitheater. Well, but everything's all in one building. And it, obviously, you can't do both at the same time. You can't have you can't have a little orchestra on the stage and having a wedding reception in the community room. I mean, that doesn't work.
Well, we were aware of that.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, but all I'm going to do is if you want me to, and again,
He's just trying
my
to
wife
expedite the
thinks I've lost
procedures.
my mind in doing this. I'm semi-retired. I don't care about doing except this is my town. And anybody that knows me, knows that the way I feel about Jeffersontown, that's not BS. That's just fact. And, that after 55 years, actually, I hate to say this, 57 years, because I first lived in an apartment up here and then I lived in Plainview for a long time and then got a divorce and had to move out of the city. And, if not, I'd probably still be trying to run on the council. No, I probably wouldn't now.
Well, thank you for your input, but Mayor, so what's the plan? You're going to work with Matt. You're going to continue to work with Matt and then come back at maybe the next meeting, give us an update since you're only 10 feet or 10 days in.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
But I
Matt's
mean-
gone.
Matt's on vacation.
Okay, well,
I think for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I mean, follow up.
We'll follow up
A
and he'll
month or
let you know what's
so.
been going on in the last couple weeks. But since he's been involved, we've already got it cleaned up down there. We've got
a little bit.
well, better than what it
Better than it
was.
was, yeah.
And it's at least showing the public that we are moving forward because they can see it with their eye that things are going on down there. But before they didn't. And they don't like it. I'm sure that you go down there, the contractors probably don't like it.
He and I are fine. No. I don't, I think he was a little upset because he was told that I said something about him having his office in there. I mean,
Brian, have you been involved any with the amphitheater? Because you're come from a contractor background and you know how to.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you'd
What
been
did we
down
say?
there or been involved at all.
and it's just as a negative situation that we've got to make it positive somehow. I don't know.
Agree.
You ask me how, I don't really know. All I can do is try. And, again, what I told Carol was, I said, okay, I'll do it on a monthly basis. So
Well, Dave, why don't we just get back together in a couple weeks? Let's see what happens when Matt gets back and we'll go from there and you continue on.
and the only other thing that I wish that we could do, and I was talking to Chief about it, is they need to put up, I mean, if it's the insurance is on the city, which, okay, I understand, but they,
Don't know that for sure.
Huh.
We got it insured, but
oh,
that doesn't mean the contractor's not responsible for it.
oh, okay. but-
Okay, and they were asked to put cameras in, they didn't. I've talked
That was a
to
contractor, didn't
Tech Plus. We have old cameras or Speak Old cameras that we have in here that we took out of other places. If the mayor asked me to do it, I'll get Tech Plus to put cameras in. It costs the city, or we'll charge it to the contract. But there is one thing I want to say, and I want to be very totally transparent here because I think a lot of people didn't think I said talked up when I needed to when we were doing both of these projects. The $1.8 million is correct, but that's not full phase 4.
No.
Okay? There is grants that are gonna pay for some more phase 4. So it's gonna be around 2.2 to 2.3 million, which is lower than the last bid, which was at about 2.4 million. So I'm gonna be totally transparent with everybody that we're gonna spend more than $1.8 million. Okay? But we're gonna get grant money to cover a lot of that cost. 80-20 and a 50-50.
Right.
Okay? You know, as long as you have the money to pay it up front and then get reimbursed, that works really well. It's what we do. So I wanted to be totally transparent about that. And you know, Dave, and I'm sorry I hollered at you.
No, that's fine.
A lot of stuff going on that, you know, we're pointing fingers at, you know, I truly believe the contractor should be responsible.
I agree.
Okay? But I had to do what I thought was right for the city. because
Absolutely.
the building was theoretically supposed to be open the fall of 2025.
Right.
So I put it on there. It might, I don't know if it's a waste of money, but the building is at least insured and we can get it taken care of if we have to. Did the same thing with the police department because chief said that these guys were going to be in there in September or October. So I got that building insured too. So, and it's only about 25,000 for that to pay. So it's worth the money, I thought, to invest in that. So, and I apologize for my outburst with you.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, I totally understand. Oh, no, that's totally fine. I just, again, it's sorting through this is like, what? No, you don't know apologies needed. No. Lord goodness, you know.
Thank you for your,
Anyway, so whatever you all decide is fine or whatever, I'll continue to do what I can do.
Thank you,
As
Dave.
long as
thank you
you
for your
want me to.
passion and
Yeah.
your,
I'm not moving from J-Town. I'm not taking the company out of J-Town. So even though the parking over here is terrible.
Yeah, it's your parking.
I want to say one thing before I leave, just so, talk about being on city council. So, I was always the number 2 vote getter after the first year. With Carol was always number 1, kind of made me mad, but anyway.
She's always number one.
So anyway, I'm going to advise you all something. If you haven't done it, don't. I rode in the parade, the Gaslight Parade, on the back of a car with Carol up Taylorsville Road. That's the most humiliating thing I've ever been through in my life. Carol. I'm waving. I got out and I looked at the side of the car and I said, yeah, it's got my name on it. But I don't think a single person waved at me, but everybody was waving at Carol. So don't ride in the parade with Carol because it's humiliating. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dave.
David.
Thank you for what
Thank
you've done.
you.
thank you.
Be in touch. Thank you. Okay, reading of the minutes, July 2nd, 2024.
Hey, Mayor, I think there's one typo in those minutes. On the second reading of ordinance number 1455 series 2024, I know I was a no vote and it said it unanimously carried. So I think it was,
You and what?
I think the vote was 7-1, on the minutes.
It was right, and, Missy probably did that, and she was not here, so, yeah, you're right.
I will get it correct.
Yeah, like I would approve the minutes with that amendment.
Second.
Make a motion to approve.
It could have been me. I might have wrote it up wrong.
No, it's okay. I mean, it still passed, you know.
Okay.
I got crushed in that vote.
So did I have a first and a second on reading of the minutes?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. General fund warrant number 1611.
I make a motion to approve general fund warrant number 1611 as distributed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Road fund warrant number 998.
I make a motion to approve road fund warrant 998 as distributed.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. First reading of resolution number 784, series 2024.
I make a motion for the first reading of resolution number 784, series 2024, by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
A resolution of the Jeffersontown, Kentucky City Council opposing the proposed rezoning from Planned Employment Center, PEC, to multifamily R7 on property located at 1801 Tucker Station Road, located in Jefferson County. Steve, do you have a map of this particular, you can put up there?
That's their proposed site plan, but this is a map that highlights there on the right, the shaded area is where they're wanting to put the 288 unit apartment complex.
Is everyone oriented to this? It's
Yeah.
on Tucker Station and it's right across the street from Papa John's campus. And it's in the middle of a PEC Commerce Park. It's not in the city of Jeffersontown. And it's incompatible with the PEC classification that we currently have. And that's what it's now is. The other issue is with respect to the traffic that it causes. We are already having multiple problems all across the roads. I guess they're the ones that are in light green, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah, the Plantside Drive to the south and Bluegrass Parkway
Yeah.
to the north.
All of
there.
that traffic comes right through our city,
Mhm.
and that's not in our city. In the event that it would be annexed at some particular point in time, then there would be a reason to have those roads opened. So that's another issue that I think the mayor is asking you to request her to study whether those roads should be cul-de-sac if in fact those apartments are going in. And the main reason we wanted to get this resolution out immediately is because they use Louisville Metro's transportation department to determine whether or not the traffic is going to flow properly. And generally our experience is we don't get very good results from that.
Mhm.
So we want to get this down to Louisville Metro, to the Planning Commission, to know that this city stands in opposition to it. Did you have anything else, Steve?
No, I think you're pretty much covered. It seems to be in violation of the comprehensive plan 2040. It's a suburban workplace form district, which would suggest preserving those lands for office industrial type of uses.
And then Mayor and Fred, do you need our support in terms of trying to do a study to figure out if we should close those roads?
I believe that where we begin is with Jimmy
Opposition.
Franconia. He can start seeing about, I think it's going to be very difficult to do the two cul-de-sacs that are set forth in green there. They may have to just be closed at that point, at that terminus with Tucker Station. Is it Lockport? What's the other?
Lakefront?
I got a Lockport on my mind from last week, I think. Lakefront may be susceptible to cul-de-sacing, but I believe we start with our own Public Works Department, giving you all a report back at some point. And if at that time, you determine that you want to close these roads, we can initiate that process. If there aren't any other questions, this is a resolution. Mayor, you may entertain a motion for passage.
I make a motion,
Second.
passes 784 series 2024 as distributed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. First reading of ordinance number 1457, series 2024.
I'll make a motion for reading by title only of ordinance 1457, series 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
An ordinance relating to a proposal to annex to the city of Jeffersontown, Kentucky, a certain tract of land situated approximately easterly in the county of Jefferson, adjoining the present city of Jeffersontown, Kentucky, and being adjacent to and contiguous generally northerly and easterly with the present boundary of said city on Chenoweth Run Road, and more particularly hereinafter described. We have Brian up here. He has kind of honchoed this from the beginning. I think he walked most of this road, knocked on most of these doors, got the appropriate signatures to enable us to be able to propose this annexation. And he can tell you a little bit more about it perhaps. Steve, do we have a map of this or you have it? Okay.
There we go.
Mayor, council, yes, our city attorney is correct. I actually visited each house no less than twice, some 3 times. in 2020, we actually annexed the area to the right. Land her and the properties coming around 8 parcels in yellow, alongside Taylorville Road. What we did not annex was, going up Shenandoah Run, which would be everything in blue, all the way around to Blankenbaker Parkway. That area there's 38 parcels. It is urban in character. 35 of the parcels are R4s, 2 are M2, 1 is CM, which allows M1 and C2. By annexing that parcel, or those parcels, at the request of the residents, by the way, due to safety, they want to be in the city of Jeffersontown. By annexing that will continue or close off that, or that completes that circuit, so that there's no, that pocket is no longer metro. It will be city of Jeffersontown. Our police officers will be able to come down Tillsville Road, go into Landher, exit the far end of Landher, and then come right in to Shenandoah Run and right around back to the city. So it makes a nice, clean annexation for the city. It's a nice thing for us. It's a nice thing for those residents as well.
This is all zone residential or commercial here?
I'm sorry, sir?
This is all zone residential or commercial?
35 of the parcels are R4, 2 are M2, and 1 is CM, which is commercial manufacturing, which allows M1 and C2.
I think I remember 1 or 2 of the residents coming about a year ago asking for this, correct?
That is correct, sir.
They did.
So this is another donut hole we have.
This is a large
all
one. This is
around the
this is
city
61 acres is what
except
this
here.
is. It's a very large donut hole that we probably should have looked into at the time of 2020. Due to time constraints, I believe the previous administration held off on that.
Brian, the houses on Taylorsville Road are annexed, right?
They are.
Once-
There's 8 parcels there,
Okay.
with the last parcels coming up. As a matter of fact, that Shenandoah Run comes from Taylorville Road up a little bit, and Mr. Markham's property is the end of that. So the Markham properties end at the blue line, and then Mr. Williams starts there and goes on around to Blankenbaker, which is the last property would be owned by the Franconia Trust, Revocable Trust.
Brian, this looks great. Filling in donut holes. I think this is something we've been wanting to do for a while.
We have.
You know, some of those buildings just north of the blue line, but south of the yellow dotted line.
Yes, sir.
Would that be something that we would get in a future annexation?
That will be up to you and the mayor's office. Is my understanding that Mayor Pike is in favor of closing those as well. Mr. Fisher's already on top of that as well.
We're on it.
Okay.
Yes.
We're on it.
We're shrinking the donut.
Yeah. Right.
So when is this annexation process starting? Now,
Mr. Fisher will answer that question.
Sorry.
when is the annexation process starting right now?
Yesterday.
We have the signatures. I'm sorry. I should have said that at the beginning.
So just remember that you gotta get it done before December.
I'm well aware of that, Mr. Fox. Well aware.
Well, you know, that's my job is to let people be well aware.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling some people forget that. If we don't get it done by then, we'll be paying for trash for.
I mean,
Right.
Yes, and I should have said that earlier, was as Mr. Fisher said, actually, this process started back in March. The knocking on the doors and meeting people. Mayor Pike was influential with that as well.
Now, I understand that. We have a 60-day after it's passed.
Yes, sir.
Which is one of the reasons, Mr. Fox, that I've asked that the city council recess this meeting and come back tomorrow so we can have final passage and get this thing sent down to Louisville Metro.
Okay.
And as of yesterday, they can hold it for 60 days, but that's the maximum. It becomes by operation of law.
And I apologize. I did not know that.
That's part of a new state statute that started tomorrow, then I believe, either today or tomorrow.
Yesterday.
Yesterday,
Yesterday.
15th.
So, Mayor, Council, any other questions for me on this properties?
thank you.
Thanks for your work, Brian.
I want to thank Mr. Rusi and his entire staff. They helped put all this together. Steve actually did all this for us. And Mayor, you got a wonderful staff that does things down here. They ought to
It
be
takes a
commended.
village to do this, and
they do
nobody
tremendous
really
work.
realizes how much work. Right. I thank everybody that's been involved in this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
So
Mayor, before you go to the next item, I would like to give.
We
a
need to
little-
pass that.
Pardon?
yeah, we need to have a first reading.
Oh. That's a first,
Voted.
that's a first reading. You don't need to vote on it any further.
Didn't I have a first reading?
That was first.
That was the first
Yeah,
reading.
meeting
That's a
tomorrow.
first reading. You don't need to vote at this time. We'll have it tomorrow.
Okay, okay. So go ahead, Fred.
But what I would like to do is give an explanation of the next ordinance, which is the, with respect to medicinal cannabis. And I'll give you a brief explanation of how this occurred. I gave you a memo back, I guess, June the 11th or so. And one of the problems, and it's been troubling me ever since this came about at the end of the legislative session, they have established this, that they're not going in to allow it. It's not going to be legal until January 1st of 2025. However, they have allowed that effective July the 1st, individuals and businesses can begin making applications for these various facilities, whether they be dispensaries, growers, labs, any other kind of facility related to medicinal marijuana. We have nothing on our land development code, the Jeffersontown Land Development Code, with respect to this. They also have this application, the individuals that make them, or businesses, are required to give a specific address. And we've had a lot of calls here at City Hall. I've had many of them, and a lot of them are coming into every department in the city with respect to where are these going to be allowed. One of the concerns I have is somebody's going to buy some property. They're going to invest in it and make this application and pay this money for it. And they're going to come back later and say they can go anywhere in the city because we don't have anything prohibiting it or do anything else. So being troubled by that, I did prepare an ordinance for tonight because we do not have a recommendation from the Planning Commission. At least we didn't until today, when Steve got on the phone and forced them to send it out to us. We got it transmitted to us today at around 2:30, wasn't it, Steve? And I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart because he did get together and we put this ordinance together between 2:30 and this meeting starting 6 o'clock, getting it ready to go so that we have something that you all can look at and determine where you want these to be if you're going to allow them. So the original ordinance that I prepared was strictly to prohibit any medicinal marijuana facilities within the boundaries of the city of Jeffersontown. But now that we have a recommendation from the Planning Commission transmitted to us, you can consider if you want to allow particular facilities within the city pursuant to our land development code. And with that, that's what this, I'm calling it B, second, the one that I just passed out to you. Because we didn't get that finished until, 5:30, something like that. And I do want to thank Steve because he really did work hard on this. Yes, sir.
Since you already vetoed new vaping shops, this seems a lot worse than vaping. Or it seems like we're, I mean, from a logical standpoint, we passed an ordinance that limits vaping shops. New vaping shops come in, but we're considering passing an ordinance that allow marijuana coming in.
No, that's,
Well,
well,
right
yeah,
or not?
it
Am I
it limits medically prescribed, doctor prescribed.
this is,
Non-smokable.
this is an entirely, this statute just came about this session. And when it ended in March or April. And we need to do something either to prohibit it generally and completely or to allow it, but only in certain areas. And that's what the Planning Commission has made a recommendation. They made it on a lot more areas than we've included in this ordinance. As a matter of fact, Steve, could you tell them which ones that they had in the,
You might want to explain to the way I understand it, we either do a part of it or none of it. We cannot just pick and choose a part that we want and not do the other parts. Is that right? That's the way I was explained.
yes.
Yeah.
So Vince, when we went down to the KLC thing, that it was the entire day was training about this.
Yeah.
And it was talking about, actual dispensaries. And then it was talking about the actual manufacturing and the size of the facilities and the intenseness that it's gotta be. And the city of Louisville, actually Jefferson County, is only gonna have 3 dispensary licenses. Then there's an area, what was it, a zone that
Yep.
was like Bullitt
So
County,
many counties.
us and Shelby County. There are a total of, what was it, 4, and then we
4
got an
total.
extra one or something. Chances are we're not
It's 3
getting-
for the region and I think 2 extra ones for Louisville Metro. So it works out to be 5 in this area.
So the question is the question, do we want to limit it or outlaw? Is that the question? Or is
Yes.
there-
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is doctor prescribed, card carrying,
Yeah, and
medical
the meeting that
pill.
Tim was talking about was real kind of eye opening for me because when you think not knowing what medical cannabis is, you're thinking like Trippy's moving down the street, right? But it's not. It's medically prescribed, it's smokeless, so they're not gonna be smoking it. It's gummy or some sort of thing that you put in your food or something like that, and the doctor has to prescribe it. And it's medicine. I mean, the state of Kentucky made it legal.
There's gonna be a lot of sick people.
Yeah, you're right.
I was gonna say, you're right, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Chief, but do you have any kind of history from, what is it? Yeah, yeah. I was just saying with your DEA, was this
Substance
in any
abuse.
of the other areas you were already in?
Here's the thing. Those babies having seizures, I'll help you.
Yeah.
How you gonna regulate?
Brad, my question on this, the way I understood it, whatever way we go, we can always come back down the road and revisit it. Am I wrong on that?
Well, that's why I've done 2 ordinances, because besides being troubled, coming up with the prohibition, we may not be able to go back.
Okay,
And we may have opted out completely.
makes sense.
So that's why we've got this other one. And again, I've designated these 2, and I think the first thing the city council needs to do is decide whether you want to, number 1, prohibit this completely. That would be the A ordinance, or B, regulate it according to not only the recommendations of the planning commission, but the staff having been through it and excluding other parts of our city that the planning commission didn't. So A is a total prohibition to be read. B is the regulatory.
Just for reminder's sake, we also already prohibited them to open up places that have the fake cocaine and
Synthetic.
synthetic stuff. We already regulated that out. So personally, I think we ought to really consider not to do this, not to allow it in our city.
Speaking of synthetic, is that a law? I mean, is it okay for them there's something called Zen. I have no idea what that even is, but I know somebody that is really being affected by this drug, and you buy it right out of the gas stations.
chief gave me the best example I've ever heard in my life of that. He said they take these gummies and they can only have 0.003% THC in it,
Right,
whatever it is. And all they do is they make the gummy bigger.
the gummy bigger.
They make the
Right.
gummy bigger.
So you think you're not getting that
I'm-
much and you are.
I'm with you, Vince. I mean, I think it's all so new. It's, nobody knows exactly how this is gonna play out and how things might change as it goes. I just would like to, I'd like to not do
Vote
it.
for it.
That's my view.
Here's what I don't want, and I don't have a vote in this, but I don't want to go to a pizza place and walk in and see these people sitting on the street, stoned out of their mind. I don't want Jeffersontown to have that vision. And maybe I'm wrong on it, but I've seen it and I've sat there and I've watched it come in and out, and we made 3 indictments. I watched these people. That's not the kind of people that we want in Jeffersontown. And I don't care if you smoke pot, you smoke heroin, or whatever the hell you do with it. I don't want them sitting on our street. So I calmly called the chief and say, will you escort them out of our city? You know, I don't want that. And I don't want them laying on our sidewalks. And if you all want that, and if that's what this is causing, then I don't want it. But I don't have a vote in it. It's you all. And I'm glad I don't have a vote in it.
Yeah, and Mayor, I don't think anybody wants drug abusers down our
But
streets.
that's what it's promoting.
Well, a pharmacy. I mean, there's a lot of prescription drug abusers too, and we have a lot of pharmacies
Exactly.
in town.
But we don't see people sitting
Point.
outside of these places. Take off one day and go sit in a car that nobody knows who you are and watch what goes on coming in and out of those vape stores. Just watch what goes on. It's
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah, I don't think the
Right.
vape stores are good. I'm not an
Different
advocate for
breed.
them, and I'm glad that we regulated them and got them out of the areas of town we wanted to get them out of.
So it's y'all's pleasure. What do y'all want to do?
Make a can I make a motion that we
We're
vote
gonna
no on
reset.
this? Make
Oh,
a
we have
motion
to
that we
make a
vote no
decision.
to allow this stuff in our city.
Well, is it something we should take to committee and
Yeah.
talk about it? Because you just kind of said if we
Versus
say,
taxes.
Got this.
you said if we vote no for prohibition, then it's over.
That's what, yeah.
And so if we,
It could be construed that way, yes.
and I understand you're trying to get this so that people don't buy property, but with a January 1st, 2025, is that what you said? I mean, we got a little bit of a, I don't know.
5 months.
I guess the question, what's the urgency of it?
But they're applying right now.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as of July
Oh.
1st.
Okay.
And I think they got to put money and everything up when they apply too, don't they? That they don't get back
So
regardless.
people are applying to have this brought into their city.
So
Is that,
People are applying for applications for
license.
licenses.
Yep.
They're
Okay.
putting up.
Yeah, for the
they're
license.
putting up non-refundable deposits. which
and we would have to do that if we say yes?
if you say the city council adopts B, I'm gonna call it the B ordinance, then it would be regulated, but it would be allowed. If you go with the A ordinance, it's gonna be totally prohibited.
And Fred, would you say this B ordinance has these places in fewer spots than the vape stores, or the same amount, or they're more frequent? Like if you were to compare our ordinance that banned the vape stores from CTC 1 and CTC 2, is that more or less restrictive than ordinance B?
If I could
Or I
speak to
guess-
that.
Please.
This is at least equal to the smoke shop ordinance, and in most cases stricter. So like in C2 commercial, which is the only commercial that we would look at, that the only way they could do it is with a conditional use permit.
Right.
So that would be a public hearing in front of the Jeffersontown Board of Adjustments. And if they're too close to residential properties or something, you know, the board can look at all the factors and say yay or nay. They can vote no to allow it.
Thanks, Steve.
So it's more restrictive in that case. In the Commerce Park, there's 2 versions. I think we're adding 1,000-foot from residential properties. And that's for both, we would do that for both dispensaries in the park, in PEC, M1, M2, but also for, I forget what they call it, the cannabis cultivator, processor, or producer, because the cultivation is all done indoors, from what I understand, and they would process it or produce it. Those also have a minimum setback of 1,000 feet from residentially zoned properties, along with the same list of schools, childcare centers, that was in the smoke shop ordinance, churches, and things.
And see, thank you, Steve. And that's where I was going. It's more restrictive than even what we have on the vape stores and smoke shops today, but it still allows, you know, I think I'm not interested in the dispensaries. So I'm just telling you right now, and I don't think they're even going to come to J-Town, but the cultivators, processors, and producers might be in an abandoned warehouse somewhere that you don't even see because it's not it's not a greenhouse that's advertised.
But
so
is
to
there, is there a limit on those per county?
Yes. they
Okay,
have the
I know
same-
the
they-
dispensaries are, but it's the same. Okay, so that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is it allows it, but it's regulated in a way that it's unlikely that we'll have it. But now we have it we always have the option in the future to see where they land in other parts of the county, and we can always do a total ban then too. If it ends up not working where they are somewhere else.
Yeah. And then also if we go with B, we could have a safety or whatever planning and zoning meeting and fine tooth it a little bit. I know you did a good job on this, but we got it like 10 minutes before the meeting. So
Yeah.
some of us are reading through this, so I don't want to slam the door on it. So it's either get a first reading in so we can do a second reading and in between that tweak it if we need to.
Well, you can do a first reading on whatever one that y'all want. You don't ever have to have the other
Well,
reading.
one was the complete ban.
Right.
The B one is the one that's open to with restrictions like the vapes.
More restrictive than the vapes.
Well, I think I made a motion to have the
Okay.
ban. What's it, reading A?
The ordinance A.
A,
Hey, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
uh,
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Okay, so I'm saying no. So I'm saying no. Yes, sir.
You're saying that you do not
Want-
agree to have a first reading of this ordinance for the
Of the full ban.
full
Correct.
ban.
So you're for the full ban.
I want to make sure
I'm for the full ban.
Councilman Carr.
Then
You're
you would
for
say
the
yes.
full ban?
Wait a minute, she's for the
She's
full.
You're
confused.
for the prohibition, then you want to vote to have a first reading of A, of the A.
So if you're for
It would be a
say
yes.
If you're not, say no.
the motion on the table is to
You
ban
want
it. The motion on the
nothing.
table is to
You
ban
don't
it.
want them to come in, then it would be a yes. vote.
Yes,
So we'll start again. Councilwoman Smith,
yes.
Councilman Carmen,
I keep going back and forth
Me
on it,
too.
but for me, I'm kind of like with Pam and some others, just the unknown right now with it, with this being new. I am in support of this motion.
Councilman Grisandi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hickey,
I don't think it's gonna be an issue anyway, but I say yes.
Yes?
Councilwoman Ware,
Yes.
Councilman Bloom,
No.
Councilwoman Head,
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
No.
Okay, by a vote of 6-2, the motion passes.
That means we need a reading of A, a first reading. An ordinance relating to regulation of medicinal cannabis within the corporate boundaries of the city of Jeffersontown, Kentucky. This is the prohibition ordinance. That's the first reading. Nothing further needs to be done on this. at
And
this
then you're
point.
all meeting again tomorrow at 12:30?
Yes, and that'll be for the annexation of General Fund Road. That's the
Okay.
only, I mean, they can have a second reading of this tomorrow also.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? No? We're done on this? committee reports, before I get to there, no, I'll go on with you. Committee reports, go ahead, Tim.
Economic Development has nothing to report, but is everybody available at 12:30 tomorrow to reconvene?
Me.
Okay,
And I might show up.
that's all.
Trina,
Administration.
Kevin,
Planning and zoning has no report.
Pam.
Nope, the Parks and Rec has no
Oh, I
report.
skipped over. Sorry, Vince.
Public Works, I don't think has a report. Do we? No report.
Pam, no. Pam, where?
I have no report unless chief has something, but you usually ask the directors, so.
Allison? No. They don't even have you on here, Mark.
Next tab.
No.
I'll get,
I didn't even notice that.
He was on the new one.
Missy to change that.
Yeah. They don't even have you on here.
I didn't even notice he was on the
I'm
same
not really
line.
skipping you, Mark.
I know, Mayor.
Okay.
I know.
So it's you, Mark.
I know it's a trend, but it's okay. I know Emily's not here tonight, but Audrey went to the art camp last week and it was great. And so I'm really glad that the city's putting that on. So Debbie, thank you, and Mayor, thank you for having that art camp. It was awesome. And I've seen a lot of other people that have attended and they really appreciate it. So, but nothing to report from finance.
Allison?
Nothing to report from legislative.
What about all my directors? Brian, you got anything else?
Nothing further, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Debbie, you got anything? Jimmy?
Want to speak, you're not gonna speak.
Mayor, council, the heated debate is great to show your concern about what's going on. And I don't want to kick that dead horse one more time, but I'm going to kick it. Everybody's kind of lost of what transpired from one administration, where it came from. And it's neither here or there. We got the same issues going on with the police station on certain aspects. And as Andre can tell you, I've been working with some of their people down to Flynn Brothers, because once it's designed at the architect, they're building off the design. Things were approved, and here we are. I applaud you for bringing David Snowden in and kicking dust up. Fresh eyes is needed, and we're getting things done. And I just want to rest assured, phase 4 is my expertise on this amphitheater. I brought that up a long time ago to pull the specs of what the roads are going to be built out of, and it was not adequate at all. And I went to Billy and I said, I'm going to cost us some money, but we're going to do it right the first time. And so we're going to make those changes. And I'll help Shadow Dave. I don't know where to put Grateful Dead on the stage. That's not my but I can build a parking lot and concrete and all that stuff. So I will be down there to rest assured it's going to be done right. And we will move through this. It will not be what you've seen in the past.
Right, I agree. Thank you, Jimmy, for
Thank you,
saying
Jimmy.
that. Mhm.
Thanks, Jim.
Debbie, you got anything? Steve? Nothing. Chief? Scott? No. Chief, Greg, do you have anything that you want to bring up? Okay, thank you. How about you, Mr. Quinn? You just here to wave hi? Okay, other than
You didn't
that,
ask me, Mayor, but I do want to again thank Steve, because he put his head down and at least got to where you all had a choice tonight.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Steve.
I wanted to tell you that Saturday night was the night market. It turned out to be very successful. There's a lot of people. They love the band, love that band. They came from Woodhaven, and Kevin was even calling people up, his family, to come up to
Oh, yeah.
listen
It
to
was
the
good.
band. Yeah, they were very good. Next time we'll have the trolley hop. We did stay, people wanting to know what's going to happen this Saturday with the farmer's market. If you get any calls about it, because everybody's wondering where farmer's market's going to be. It will not be under the pavilion this time, because it is the beer fest. You will not be able to park under City Hall this weekend. I want you to know that, because that is their cooling place or shady place. So they're setting up a couch and all that under there. Other than that, the next thing will be the trolley hop. And we're going to try to see if we can have an MC on the trolley hop. And maybe Beth is what I'm hoping will get on the trolley hop and talk about Jeffersontown as the trolley goes around. She knows more about Jeffersontown than most people do, and have her talk and educate the people.
As far as, Beth, now that you bring that up, the museum and safety and what happened at Bluebird, I mean,
Yeah, she's scared.
We were talking, I mean, she said she walked out in the parking lot and there is 0 cars. It's dark. She's the only one by herself.
We're taking it off the route.
And she only had like 2 people.
Right. I
So,
already taken it off the
yeah,
route.
I'm
So
glad to hear
that's why I
that.
said maybe she could get on the trolley hop and kind of educate people.
Yeah.
Carol, Mayor, did they move, the farmer's market back to the pavilion? Is that what I saw?
No, no, no.
They
It's
move it
gonna
over to
be
the church.
down behind the Korean
No,
church.
the night market.
Oh, the night market went back there,
Back to
yes.
the pavilion?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's what I thought I
It's gonna
saw.
be at the pavilion. It's just easier because you can't please everybody and we're just gonna have it there. So it is what it is. Anything else from anybody? If not,
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we recess to
Adjourn.
tomorrow.
we're gonna recess.
Oh, that's what
Yep.
you were saying. Sorry.
That we recess to tomorrow, Wednesday, July 17th at 12:30.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have a quorum for tomorrow. Is that right?
I think we did.
Well, we recess, so we'll see.
I think there was only 2 that said they couldn't.